So because backdating your GitHub can be quite labor intensive if you have a load of days to do, there's a very simple way to use a bash terminal and for loops to start doing it automatically. So for this example, I'm going to automatically just put a few commits into March 1st all the way to March 5th. So first step we're going to need to do is create a repository. So create, I'm just going to call it backdate, set to private. Make sure that your profile settings have it set that commits to private repos affect your contribution graph. So create repository. I just want these commands here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a folder on our desktop or whatever, and we're going to open git bash, and we want to initialize a git repository here. So git init, and I'm also just going to use the touch command to create a sample text file, and that'll just be used to, that'll be our first push up just to make sure it's connected properly. So I want to copy this command, git branch main. Then I want to copy this second command, which will connect it to this repository. Paste in, hit enter, and then I'm going to just add to the staging area that file that we created. You can run git status to see that it's in the staging area. I'm just going to do a simple commit for it. Test. Cool. So that's committed, and now I want to push that commit up to our connected repository. Boom. So if we refresh here, we should see it's connected. Fantastic. So the way we're going to do this, the way this works, is actually a very simple bit of script. So we're just going to edit this here, or in a notepad file. This will be in the description of the video, or you can write it out, I guess. But what we're going to do is just make our edits here to what we want, and then paste this into the terminal, and then hit enter. So what it is it's a for loop, and the first for loop is going to be controlling the dates that we want to affect. So I have it set to 1 to 5, and you can, and that's going to store that in the variable I. And you can see that way down here when we're saying the date, we use the variable I. So that's going to be what day of the month, the date of the month we want it to be. So it's going to go from the 1st to the 5th. Then what we wanted to do is we wanted to generate a random number. And again, here is where you can change some values. I have it that I want to have between 1 and 4 commits a day. So if you wanted to be, say, between 2 and 5 commits a day, you could just change the 1 to a 2 and that to a 5. And then that would just affect this nested for loop, which is going to go up to whatever random number is generated. So for the moment, I'm just going to leave that to 4 and 1. Or actually 3. 4 and 1. So what's then going to do is it's going to create a file, and because I'm working on March, I am going to prepend the file with MAR, and then it's going to put in the day that it's working through, and then which commit it's working through, and then .js. So that's going to create, the first time this runs, it's going to create a file called mar1-1.js, and then it's going to add that to the staging area, and then it's going to commit it and amend the date, and again, because we're working on March, I have this set to 2022-03. So if I wanted to update all of this for February, I would, and say I was doing it for the full month of March, so that was 1 to 31. If I was doing this for February, what I would do is I would change that to 28, because there's only 28 days in February. I would come down here, and I would change this to FEB for February. And then I would come down here and I would change this to 2022-02. And then it's going to push that commit to the repo, and then it's going to go back. And all these sleep commands are just telling bash to just wait a second or wait 2 seconds before running the next command, just to make sure that the previous ones have finished. So when you're done with this, and we're going to work with February. Oh, I'm actually not going to have it run all 28 days. I'm just going to have this run the first 3 days of February. So we can just copy all of this and then paste it into the terminal. And then hit enter. And you can see over here, it's running through the first time. So create a file called feb1-1.js. And we'll see how many times it decided to loop on that day. Oh, so the random number it generated was at least 2. Yeah, it was 2. So it created February 1-1 and then February 1-2. And then it went on to the next day. So February 2-1, February 2-2. And we'll see if it does anything else. Now, while this is running, once you hit enter, you can go about your business. You can do other stuff. This will just keep running in the background on this. You do, like, I can select this window. You don't have to keep this focused. So you can see February 2-4. So it actually did 4 commits for February 2nd. And then it's doing February 3rd now. So we'll see how many it does. Did a second one. And it did a third one. Will it do a fourth? It did a fourth. So this is, because I set it, the range between 1 and 4, that's going to be the last one it does. So it's done now. You can see when your thing comes back up, it's done. If I go here and I refresh, you see that I have nothing in February at the moment. But if I refresh, boom, I have 2 commits on February 1st, 4 on February 2nd, and 4 on February 3rd. So that's it. It's very, very quick to change up and then do it for the next month. So enjoy.